guys, welcome back to Flip Tip Friday. I'm super duper excited because for this week's video, we're kind of going to be traveling back in time and covering the front walkover that we taught in season 1. This time I'm going to be breaking down and teaching you a lot of the variations that I demonstrated at the end of the episode from season 1. So if you needed a little bit of a refresher, head back to season 1 and check out the tips and tricks for your front walkover before tuning into this video. And then we'll get started on teaching the variations. Let's get to it. Here is a plain front walkover. If you need a review on the technique, head back to last season and watch the front walkover video. Let's get straight into the variations. First, we're going to be covering one-handed front walkovers. When executing a one-handed front walkover, it's important that you place your hand in the center of your two shoulders. It's like balancing on one foot. Naturally, you move your foot to the center of your body so that your weight is centered and you are then able to balance. We have to do the same thing upside down on our hands. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is what my hand that is not on the ground is doing. They start parallel to each other. And as I put my left hand down on the ground, I'm going to swing through with my right hand and let it follow through all the way into the finish of my front walkover. When practicing this, it is also really important to make sure that you can do your one-handed front walkover on either hand. This will help prevent injury in the future. This next skill is mainly used just to practice your control. You're going to kick up into a handstand, rotate half of the way around, and come down out of like a regular handstand. When doing this, you need to block out of your shoulders, which means push your shoulders towards your ears in your handstand. Then you can transition your weight to one hand while you rotate half of the way around to the other side. The next skill we're covering is the gainer front walkover. When doing this skill, you start with the opposite leg you normally put in front, tendued to the front. So that means if I'm a righty, I'm going to put my left foot in the front. Then I plie on my right leg as I swing my left leg through, passing my base leg, and kick up into my front walkover. Almost like a little fake me out. The next skill is a switch front walkover. So we start the same way we started our gainer front walkover, with our opposite leg in the front. But this time, instead of swinging our opposite leg through, we're going to step onto it and basically begin our front walkover on our bad side. Once we have reached the middle of our front walkover, our legs pass each other in a handstand, whack into our normal side split, and finish the front walkover on our regular side. This next skill is another building block for a controlled skill. You kick up into a regular handstand, whack down into your split, and finish a plain front walkover. But don't be fooled because the next variation is a little bit harder. We kick up on our right leg into our regular handstand, whack down into our split, and then our legs return up to a handstand before we finish our front walkover. That means you have to balance in your handstand for a pretty long time. Blocking out in your shoulders in this skill might help a little bit too. This next skill is what my mom and I call a sit or punch front walkover. This skill takes a lot of control, so it may take you a few tries to figure out how to make your body do what we need it to do. But for this one, you're going to kick up into a regular front walkover, but once you get to the middle of your front walkover, you're going to bend your knees in and almost act as if you're sitting in a chair. So basically, bend your knees and almost make your knees come to your chest while sticking your bum backwards. So you're going to arch as much as you can while making your knees come towards your chest. It sounds confusing, and it's really hard to make your body do this upside down, so it's going to take you some time to master this one. This last skill is a front walkover to sitting on the ground. When executing this skill, don't necessarily think about kicking straight up into a handstand. You're kind of going to be leaning a little bit sideways. I also like to turn my hand inward when I'm doing this skill so that I don't have to turn my hand while I'm upside down. It's already turned to where I need it to be. As you kick over for this skill, you're going to be looking down at your hand, and as soon as you feel your foot coming close to the floor, you're going to switch your hips and tuck your butt to a seated position. Normally when we do our front walkover, we're pushing our hips forward to arch. But for this skill, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to pull them back in a seated position. When trying this skill, make sure you're on a mat at first because a lot of times people tend to land pretty hard on their bums. Thanks for watching this week's Flip Tip Friday. If you have any questions about what we covered in today's video, feel free to leave them. Thanks for watching this week's Flip Tip Friday. If you liked today's video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. And if you have any questions about what we covered in today's video, be sure to leave them in the comments down below or feel free to DM me on any of my social media accounts linked in the description below. Check out my website at www.laineypuhala.com and add a /shop to check out my merchandise. Until next week, bye!